is up, ladies and gentlemen? In this video, I'm going to be analyzing a lot of stocks as well as breaking down the stocks that you guys suggested on StockTwits and Twitter. So I'm also going to be talking about GNS. That stock is really popular. If you watch my previous video, I talked about GNS, and today it actually sold off pretty hard, but that is exactly what we expected, right? Because I mentioned in the previous video. But basically, I'm going to be going more into GNS later in the video, guys, so stick around. So today, one of the first stocks I mentioned actually was popping, right? The exact name, I don't remember, because I trade a lot of stocks, but it was started with the S, right? The SRXH, I believe that stock. It had news and it was breaking out, right? So this is the thing with how I trade. I mentioned StockTwits that I choose small size, right? And the stock, initially when it starts to pop, I like to take starters, right? Starter means like a small position, and then if I see the action, like I like the action, right, I add more. And that's how a lot of traders trade, not just myself, but that's how a lot of traders like to scale in on position. So the stock ends up having news, but the thing with news is that oftentimes it doesn't go up. It's like half and half. Half of the time a stock goes up a lot when news comes out, and half of the times it goes down. The quality of the news, in my opinion, when it comes to small caps, it doesn't really matter, because I've seen many times that you could check yourself. A stock has great positive news, especially when it comes to biotechs. It has a positive data or like positive catalyst, right? But it ends up flushing. Like if, for example, a stock's trading at $2, positive data comes out, it drops all the way to 1. And I don't know if you've seen it yourself, but I've seen it pretty much like I've seen it so many times. And the opposite is true, where I see stocks that have bad news, such as dilution or offering, or sometimes even bankruptcy news or negative news, end up ripping face. It goes up 100-200% in a short period of time, or it runs multi-day. I've seen it so many times as well. So the thing with the news is that you can't really depend on it and just rely on the price action, right? So I mentioned that I had news today, and then the stock ended just having terrible price action. I don't know if there was like shorts, or I don't know what's going on, but it was like really bad price action. So that one was a bummer. And I said in my previous videos, I don't just talk about wins, I also talk about the losing trade I did as well, guys. So it's all about transparency, because trading is not just win, for years. It's also about, the other side as well. So that's why I want to keep it as real as possible, guys. If you appreciate the videos, I appreciate the like, guys. You guys really liked the last video, so I'm going to be talking more in depth about these stocks, right? So the first stock that actually went crazy was actually the next stock I mentioned after the one that didn't go well, which was PROK. This one, PROK. Mention it at $1 key. If you watch my videos, you know how important the psychological pivot is, right? I don't have to explain more, but basically once the stock goes over one small cap, it's really bullish, which I mentioned on the previous play, SRXH, right? I said that one key was really good, and I was watching very closely. I was ready to, get more into that stock, but it just failed super hard. So that was really unfortunate. But PROK was the one that was really nice. So after that one broke, you saw the huge volume come in, and this stock actually made a really nice uptrend, not just in pre-market, but if you check through the open, it had a really nice opportunity if you wanted a dip purchase. It went all the way to 102, and then it bounced off over 1. So that was another confirmation that 1 is key. And this stock right now is literally over $4 right now, which is a really strong sign. Those whole dollar levels as well. And this stock is even the name itself, Pro Kidney, right? So it's the name. Sometimes if you don't have time to look up the company, it's really important. If you just look at the name Pro Kidney, what do you think it is? The company is, right? It's a biotech, because kidneys, and you don't really have to know much about the company, but if you just know the word kidney, you can know it's a biotech. So when a biotech starts to squeeze, it most likely 90% of the time it has some type of catalyst behind it, right? Because biotechs have pipeline They release data. I just said in the beginning of the video, they have data come out. They have contracts. They have drug, trials. They have a lot of reasons for it to go up. So one of the biggest runners actually are bios. You should remember that. In small caps, there's like 5 of those sectors that run the craziest in small caps, and biotechs are the top 5, no question about it, right? So PROK was a really good win. The next one is ZVSA. This one was a low float. Same situation, guys. I say in every video that it's not really that complicated. Trading is more about managing a risk and trading with a plan rather than difficult. It's not like physics or calculus. It's really simple when it comes down to how to trade. It's just more about mitigating risk and try not to lose a lot when it doesn't go in your favor, right? When a trade doesn't work out. And by the way, I say almost every video and post, but everything I say is not financial advice. I just want to make it clear because sometimes it may not come off like that, but I really don't want to sound like I'm like an instructor. I don't have a financial degree, like advice. So contact a professional, guys. I'm just sharing my opinions and just trying to help people, right? With my experience, with my opinion. So ZVSA, this one over $1 ended up ripping face to 167. That's a 67% gain in a short period of time. And this stock, I'm pretty sure, not just had technical pattern, but also had news as well. Because it's, as you see, it ran in pre-market, right? If a stock runs in pre-market most of the time, I think I'd say more than 70% of the time it has some type of news. So you could check the news online for free. When a stock has breaking action, right, in the morning, you could check. So that was ZVSA. The next one was SBET. This one I mentioned, that was a former super runner. If you watch my videos, you know about how a stock personality is very important when it comes to trading, right? So in the past, if a stock likes to make really big moves up, then likely it's going to repeat that action, right? So SBET, this one had really nice volume. I mentioned it like around that 14.25 pivot, ended up ripping to almost 17. And this one actually is a swing idea watch, because if you zoom out the chart, actually this stock is finally breaking out of that downtrend. And if you look at how it's reacting, which this is a multi-day setup. If you watch my previous 2 videos or my every video, I talk about how multi-day setup is one of the best strategies to utilize in trading. I easily say it's the top 5 strategies because of how simple it is and also how accurate it is. I'd say easily more than half of the time the trades end up working out, right? If the previous resistance holds support and you see nice volume and you see the hold out dollar levels. So SBET, this was a really nice play, and watch it as a swing idea, guys, as well, if it holds those previous supports. So next one, SBFM. This one, someone on StockTwits mentioned to me to watch it, and I believe she also mentioned it in the past. And I know the stock well because I traded in the past. This was a big runner. It's a below flow bio, and basically I'm a technical trader. I don't really go into the fundamentals like filings and the pipeline, the data. I used to do that a lot in the past because I was a swing trader primarily. But now this year especially, I'm a day trader, so I may look at technicals. But if we're talking about this biotech, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of catalysts coming up for the stock. So you want to see what's coming in for the stock, and also you want to look at the cash, especially it's a big cash. If a biotech company doesn't have cash to fund the company, that's really not the best thing. As well as you also want to look at their working, like how many people, employees. You want to see who's in charge, the company, and check for dilution, check for if there's any SFAT, the shelves, check the public offering, the direct, check the there's a lot of stuff to check when you're talking about swing trading bios, but those are the main things. And looking at it right now, I mean, the daily chart does definitely have big range, but I'm seeing that its money in a channel, like a sideways type of channel, and you have to break that, probably that $2 in order to see a significant change in direction. But this was an interesting pick. Shout out to Stock Analyzer 777. So the next play that someone mentioned for me to include in the video, NWTG. This is a golf name, good sector, niche sector. And I know the stock I traded in the past actually, and it was, I remember like banking on it. This is a thin name. If you know what that means, is basically if it has little volume, it ends up ripping face, but at the same time also drops a lot, because thin means like it's very, yeah, I know how to describe it. It's like, if you use little volume, it makes big moves. So this stock, look at it, the volume is very, very small. I mean, NWTG, yeah, the volume is very small, and it's like you really want to see a catalyst for the stock as well. And I think the stock usually has pre-market PR, so as I remember trading in pre-market. So this stock was really catalyst based. Again, same situation as the previous one. It's just sideways pretty much for the most part. You really want to see news or so a reason for it to push up, right? Because 90% of the time it's not going to randomly, pop 200% or 100% if there's no reason for it to. So nice pick to GZK. Next one, SIDA. This one I mentioned many times. Actually, the previous week I said $3 multi-day run, and that's exactly what happened. It ripped all the way to 518 today. I mean, the previous trading day. And someone told me today to mention it, right? Again, look at it right now. The chart honestly doesn't look the best. I mean, it had a really big crash type of pattern. And like I said, I'm not really a filing person right now, the fundamental. I don't know if it's an offering, it looks like it, the price action. But it is holding over $4, and you see that the previous resistance, right, is turning into support. So that's a factor for multi-day. If it holds that 4 level, it'll be interesting. But the chart itself, I mean, yeah, it's not looking the best, but I do think that this has potential as a low floater, history of big moves. So definitely keep this stock on your watch. This guy is SIDA. Next one, MSW. Wait, shout out to Baconator. So next stock, MSW. This is a Bitcoin play. He mentioned that this is a catalyst. So there's a catalyst coming for his company. It looks like a very, very thin name. It's like dots on the chart, which is not ideal, but again, he's talking about catalysts, which was exactly what I mentioned for the previous picks, where if a stock looks like this, where there's no action, a catalyst is the #1 thing that you want to be looking for to make that huge volume come in, as well as make it pop, right? So this stock is definitely added to my watch list. Bitcoin is a really nice sector, and it had a lot of stocks with Bitcoin theme on rip and face. Bitcoin treasury, remember ST, remember SBET, remember BMNR, remember FAS, also BTBT I mentioned. So many plays, right? So it's interesting find to money works. Next one, MLGO. This one I mentioned as a swing idea, I think a week ago. Tracy is saying that MLGO could be still a swing. I mean, I mentioned it, I think it was like 70 cents. And then it went up to I think like 74. It didn't really do the best action because this is a thicker name. Basically, that means that even if there's huge volume, it doesn't really move the way that a low float moves, right? Even if the float's not crazy high. This stock, honestly, it's similar to Mullen. If you guys know MULN, that stock tends to trade like this, where it's the price action is very choppy. But this stock, again, look at this range on this stock. It has huge history of making big moves. And that 50 cent is really, the risk reward is really nice off 50 support. I did mention a higher, which is not the best, but it happens. Sometimes my entry points are not the best because either I'm on my phone or, it just happens, right? You're never going to get the perfect entry every time. But this stock, you really want to see, again, same situation, a catalyst, or you want to see a sector, maybe a Chinese sector. This is a Chinese stock, right? So you want to see that sector ignite. and as a sympathy reactionary, it's probably gonna pop as well. It's a very cheap risk to reward ratio. The key area you have to watch over 77 into 80 plus cents. That'll make a nice momentum for the stock. MLGO, shout out to Tracy. Next stock on the list is this one I mentioned early in the morning, IOH. This stock I mentioned 950 and they're ripping face over $10 in a short period of time. So 1K shares is $10,000 plus profit potential. This stock I mentioned because it was starting to move. It's on a perk and then ended up just ripping. IRO was a monster. It ripped like 100% because what do you see on the float, guys? Micro float, 6 million float with huge volume. And pre-market ripping face, guys, just like that. Hope people banked on this one. So yeah, that's pretty much all the picks. And another one, BTBT. This one actually, I mentioned in the past many times, this was a solid swing multi-day setup. This is higher float. And Bitcoin's continuously making new highs and looks really bullish. So BTBT is a really good play. Snake mentioned BTBT. That was a good play in them, as well as BTOG, which I'm going to be talking later in the video. BTBT still looks really good. It looks like shorts are trapped on this name actually. I think that has a short percentage as well on the float. Go to the 30-minute chart and you're seeing very nice pattern forming, as well as you're starting to see the volume hold on the support line. I think this stock has big potential as well. You could zoom out the daily chart. This has a history of big range. Go back to those times when Bitcoin was really hot. It ran over $10, well, easily over $10. So this is a very interesting play. The level I'm really looking at right now, being 100% honest, 450. You want to see 450 crack and go towards that key $5 pivot. So shout out to Snake. Next play, MIRR and DATS. Snake also mentioned to look at MIRR and DATS. These stocks I've traded many times in the past, and these are pre-market plays usually, because I know for sure that these stocks like to have news in the morning time, pre-market, right? And even without news, looking at these charts, they do have a history of spiking. You really want to see that spikeability. Notice for patterns, because patterns is profit in day trading. See how MIRR, every time it accumulates, it pops, accumulate, pop. So you want to look for maybe dips if you're bullish on MIRR. DATS is in a nice sector. I think DATS is tech stock, right? Technology. And it's a really bullish sector because these stocks be releasing a lot of news within that sector lately, especially with AI. Bitcoin, crypto getting really hot. DATS is a nice runner as well. I'm going to be monitoring both of them, so shout out to Snake for these picks. They were not on my watch list prior to Snake mentioning it to me, right? So shout out to him. So guys, some swing. Oh yeah, so you already know, guys, GNS. We gotta talk about GNS because a lot of people really like GNS, and I did mention it in the past video. So I have to mention it, right? Not just when it goes up, but also when it goes down. So GNS today, looking at it, the price action, you have to admit, is not the best. But I said in the previous video that this is expected. Because think about it. I mentioned this. I mean, the stock was trading at 50 cents, right? And then it rips to 170 in a week. In like a week. What was it, a week? Yeah, it was like a week. That's a very big gain in a short period of time. If you do a percentage calculation, 50 cents to 170 is a 240% gain. And remember, this is not a low float, right? Low float would be anything under like 20 or 30 million float. This is a medium type of float, and for it to go 240% is a big move. So you're definitely going to see people taking profits. You're definitely going to see people, shorts entering. You're going to see this type of price action, right? And looking at it right now, you see that. What's the thing? What do you guys think? What's the hold one? The psychological pivot. I mentioned every video, guys, $1 is key, but it's the thing I said yesterday that I do. Even if it falls under one, as long as it holds trend, the trend is your friend in small cap. As long as the stock is trading over 80 cents, in my opinion, it's still in trend, intact. If it falls under 80, being 100% honest, I don't think it's in a bullish trend anymore. But that doesn't mean that it's not gonna go up again, right? Because this is a catalyst rich stock, which means that there's gonna be, I'm almost 100% sure that Roger and Kevin Malone are going to keep releasing news. They said it themselves, and it's public information, right? I don't have any insider knowledge, or I don't have a fortune ball, but they said it themselves that they have a lot of news coming up. So they said it, and if you're a bullish investor in it, you just pretty much have to trust what they're, saying, right? And what I'm saying off of that is that if you're trading in general, like not just small caps, but if you're trading in the market and you don't expect to, when things don't go exactly the way you want it to, and you get, flustered, or you get emotional, or you get, in a bad situation, then that means that this really is not for you. Because, if you're trading in the market, it doesn't matter, crypto, futures, options, short, long, swing, day trading, it's all the same, where if you have to expect things not to go not to go exactly where you want it, right? So if you, for example, in the red, or if it doesn't hit your price target, or this or that offering, or some bad news comes out, you have to expect that fully going in. And it may be obvious, but I think a lot of people don't expect that, which is why you're seeing a lot of people, freaking out when a stock drops, or if it has bad news, because they didn't really take into account of that happening. So you really want to change the mind frame, right? Because I'm just trying to help people. I could be one of those people that just be like saying only good things. Oh, this is gonna go to 20 plus, like a lot of YouTubers do, right? And just just blindly promoting something. But I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys, just trying to help. So what was your plan on GNS, guys? You plan on holding it to 2? You plan on holding it as an investment, or you plan on buying it back lower, or what's your plan, guys? Write down in the comments, because I'm curious as well, and I'll make future videos on this stock, because I don't think it's dead. So guys, that's pretty much the video. I have some swing ideas that I'm looking at. Workhorse, I mentioned on stock twits, it looks really nice, a really nice trend and volume today. You want to monitor that. SBET, I mentioned earlier. This one is a risky gamble type of swing trade, and actually this one is not really swing trade. Just watch this, guys, because it's been on a really parabolic blue sky type of run. I do not think that this is an optimal swing trade, but I'm just mentioning it as it looks like a really parabolic multi-day action, right? But just keep an eye on this one. Next one, BTTB. This is in Bitcoin sector. Really, the penny's starting to get really nice action and accumulation. Keep an eye on BTTB as well. And LTVN over 150. It looks really nice. 175 key pivot. This is a buy low floater. History of big moves. I'm definitely keeping an eye on the LGVN, as well as DATS stats that Snake mentioned earlier. Looks really interesting as well. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, like the video, guys, comment down below any questions. I'm gonna be making more videos, and the mic is coming, I think, in like 2 days. The audio definitely will get better, and I'm gonna put an effort to make the videos better visually as well, guys. So I appreciate it, and hope you guys bank this month. The month just started, guys. It's only been a few days, and there's no holidays until like September, so we're gonna lock in and try to make the best of the time. So have a great night, everyone.